Ever felt frustrated being told PMS, heavy bleeding, and cramping are just normal parts of life? You are not alone. I loathed my monthly cycle for decades. That all changed when I earned 3 health coaching certifications discovering something incredible. Your period is vital. It is an outward sign of your inner health, and it holds the key to unlocking your full potential. I've been there battling heavy, painful periods, and I turn them into cycles with minimal PMS and cramping. Today, I'm on a mission to share that information with you. Pour a cup of your favorite drink, get comfy, and grab your headphones as we embark on a candid and empowering journey of self-discovery. Together, we'll demystify menstrual cycles, explore cyclical living, delve into natural birth control, and guide parents through those crucial period talks with tweens and teens. It's time to break the taboo around menstruation and embrace the wisdom it holds. I'm your host, Heather Almendinger, and this is the Embracing Flow podcast. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Embracing Flow. I'd like to introduce our guest today, an expert at Embracing Flow, Kat Parks. Welcome, Kat. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous today, Heather. So happy to be here with you.
Oh, I am so happy to have you here with us on Embracing Flow. Listeners, this is why Kat is visiting us today. She is an experienced face yoga instructor and yoga teacher who has worked with thousands of students since 2013 at her own studio and at a top-rated wellness resort in the country. With a passion for sharing the joy of face yoga in a fun and easy way to develop greater awareness and confidence, she loves to share the possibility of connecting to our natural beauty as we age without the risks of invasive treatments. Kat hosts workshops, teaches private classes, and leads an immersive group program that empowers others to become more intimately acquainted with their faces. I love that you incorporate face yoga into your life and we're going to get into how you got into this. But before we do, I ask all of my guests if they are willing to share one of their first cycle stories and about what time frame age did they start cycling.
I love it. So I'm actually really excited to talk about this, partly because mine feels like kind of boring. I know that sometimes some ladies have these like crazy experiences. Oh my God, I was 9. I thought I was dying. No one told me what was happening. Heather, I was like 15 and a half. Like if I didn't know what was going on, that was a big deal. I was, much older than all of my friends who had already gotten it. And my parents, I want to give them a shout out because I'm very proud. They gave me the talk, they gave me the sex talk, the puberty talk. There was a book that was Where Did I Come From? And then there was a book, What Is Happening to Me? And it was all illustrated. And my parents said, read it, let us know if you have questions. I asked questions, they gave me answers. And by the time, again, like I said, I was like 15 and a half. By the time I started my cycle, I was like, oh, hey, here it is. Super easy. Told my mom, she gave me a pad. It was nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy. But I do want to give my parents a shout out because I think that that's the most important thing is that we are teaching our daughters what is about to happen, and not just our daughters, our sons, teaching our children what is happening with our bodies, I think is super important. So that's my little shout out to my parents.
I love that your parents did that and prepared you for it because I have had guests that had the horror stories. I kind of knew what was going to happen with me. I wasn't really prepared for it, but again, kudos to your parents for doing that. And yes, I agree, teaching our children, regardless of what body parts they were born with, about cycling and what it does and how it works and what's going to happen. Because it's the more we bring awareness to it, the less taboo it becomes, which is why Embracing Flow is here. And I love it. And I love that you've experienced a positive when it comes to cycling and you were prepared for it. So that is phenomenal. You're one of the first ones that I've had that I can remember that actually had somewhat of a good experience with it. And yeah, kudos to the parents. So had that experience helped you get to where you're at? How did you get into face yoga in particular? And can you explain to us what face yoga is? I know this is a lot of questions like right at you, but I know a lot of people are like, what the heck, Heather, what are you doing? Why are you talking about face yoga?
Yeah, excellent. We'll start there. What is face yoga? So, face yoga is this holistic modality that has been around for 23 years. It has over 100 different poses, exercises, and release techniques that can allow us to reduce and eliminate fine lines and wrinkles, create symmetry in the face, address almost any else big air quotes issue that we've got with our face. But my favorite thing to utilize it for is creating confidence and more awareness of my face, my life, um, and really sharing that with my students. It's more about how we can feel than about how we can look. I think that the look is sort of like a fun little side effect, but I really got into this for the feel. As far as how I got into face yoga, I was visiting Arizona for the very first time before I moved here. And for those listeners who might not be aware of Scottsdale, Arizona, there's a med spa on about every single corner. It feels, seems, looks like everybody has injections. And I was feeling really self conscious. I've got this little line between my eyebrows, and I thought to myself, what can I do about it? An esthetician said, you need to get injections, particularly Botox. And I was about to do it. I was thinking about how I was going to lie to my natural health doctor husband for this appointment that I've got. Oh, I've just got an appointment. And then in the same week, face yoga came across my sphere in a Facebook ad. And I thought to myself, why not try this? Let's see if this can give me the same kind of results, or if I can really do this with my own hands, face, body, because this would also be something that I'm sure, again, my natural health doctor hubby would be a lot more aligned with. So I dove in, started feeling and seeing results. Then, about a year later, dove into the teacher training as I've been a yoga teacher now since 2013. So it felt like a natural step for me to take it from this body movement to this face movement. So now I've been teaching face yoga for 3 years, teach at this wellness resort, teach a bunch of other students. And it's been honestly really life changing for me. I feel like being able to feel in control of my face and my aging has really helped me feel a little bit better about this idea. And here's the thing, we're talking just now about our first period experience, which, could have happened when we were 9 or 15. But we also are continuing to change every day, every year, every decade. And those changes can be alarming, just like our first period can be alarming. And we're like, oh my God, what is this? I'm dying. We could also wake up in the morning and be like, oh my God, what is this line by the side of my mouth? I'm dying. And we can learn how to take control of these things, feel a little bit better about ourselves, and know that this isn't the end of the world because we're all growing, we're all changing, and that is absolutely not something that we can change.
I I agree. I was kind of funny as I'm thinking about the conference I was just at, and one of the ladies that I met there, she is into makeup and that sort of thing. And she had a sign that said, "Guess my age."
Uh-oh.
And I had no idea how old she was. I've known her for 2 years since I joined this organization. No idea how old she was. And she had to go get something, and there was somebody that was standing in her spot. So I still didn't know how old she was. And we were all going around in a circle then guessing how old each of us were. And there were like 5 or 6 of us in a circle. And we had one lady who was 61, didn't look her age. And we had another one that there, and I'm horrible at guessing ages, absolutely horrendous at guessing ages.
Same.
I don't want to offend anybody. Um, and I was like, well, how old do you think I am? And they're looking at me and they're all looking at me. And the one who knew how old I was, she hadn't come over yet. And they're all looking at me and they're like, 32. And I said, thank you.
Ooh.
You made my day. And they're like, well, what do you mean? How old are you? I was like, I'll be 47 in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, nice.
And they just kind of looked at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm not using the products that our friend is sharing and promoting. I'm not using any type of injection because I that's just not something that I want to put in my body. If that's something that others want to, that's fine. And it sounded like you preferred not to put that in your body as well and founded face yoga. I take care of myself and I put good nutrients in, and I do want to see about the face yoga so that way I can improve it, not to stay young, but again, feel. I don't
Exactly.
feel 47. I I I don't think I look 47, not just face, but body wise. I don't feel it, and I don't want to feel 47 yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is that we as the women in this era, we get to be these role models, these people who are charging ahead and showing what is 47 now. What is 37 now? I'm 2 months away from turning 37. And I I have had people, yeah, think that I'm in my 20s, which is cool. It's great, whatever. But like, that's again, like, not the goal. When I teach my classes at the resort, I tell everyone the very first thing that I say is, we're not going to walk out of here looking 20 unless you're 20. And truly, if we really think about it, none of us actually want to be 20 again. A lot of us, I'm sure that even if we see a picture of our 20-year-old self, that's not what we want to look like either. A lot of the time, we're not taking good care of ourselves. We're puffy, we're drinking alcohol, we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, staying up late, and all of that's reflected on our face. So there is a lot that we can do now with just being grown-ups, I'll say, that we can eat a little bit better, drink more water, get more sleep, and all of that again will show up on our faces.
Yeah, I came across a gentleman. I used to bicycle quite a bit. And everyone in our group, because we took care of ourselves, looked 20 years younger than our age. We had a neighbor who in when I was in high school. Now we're talking a long time ago, because like I just said, I'm going to be 47 in a few weeks. He would run, and I'd look at him, and his movement said you could tell he was older by his movement. To look at him outside running, you'd think he was in his 50s. And at that point, he was
Yeah.
in his 70s. And 20 years later, I saw him still running in his 90s, and he still looked to be in his 50s and 60s. And I'm like, he's still alive? How old is this man? Because he looks like he hasn't aged.
Yes.
And it's because we are taking care of our bodies. When it comes to, and I've brought up informed consent and off recording, we've spoken about informed consent. What have you noticed are more people drawn to the more natural way, or how is that kind of shaping up in your world? The
Absolutely.
injections versus is there a shift? Is it 50-50? Kind of where does this all fit?
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely do see that things are changing. I think that we got into a place where it felt like people, doctors, injectors, estheticians were telling people that this is the only way. And they are still telling people that a lot, like a lot, a lot. I've had so many students tell me that they get migraines or that they have TMJ pain and that their doctors have said this is the only way, and it's not the only way. And I want to shake those doctors, because that's not okay to tell your patients that there's only one treatment. There's so many other things that we can do. And unfortunately, this injection, botulinum toxin, is the most lethal neurotoxin on the planet. This is easily Googleable. I'm not just saying it. And it can hurt people. It does hurt people often. And it might not be hurting you, and it might not be hurting your sister, and it might not be hurting your friend now, but it could. And this is something that I think is not talked about enough in the sphere, in the medical community. There's a lot of doctors who, after someone has an adverse reaction, will say it absolutely was not the injections. And that's again not true. This is gaslighting patients. And this is just lights a fire under me. What I've been seeing lately is that there is this trend where the injections are starting earlier and earlier. There's a lot of docs, a lot of people, a lot of gals who are saying, "Oh, I want to start this as preventative." So I'm paralyzing my muscles in my 20s, my early 20s. And again, that hurts my heart because the effects of this toxin are summative. So the more that we get it, the more it's in our body. It does cross the blood-brain barrier. It can move throughout the body, through the central nervous system, through the muscles. And if we don't know that, if we don't know the risks involved with the things that we're doing, then we can't give informed consent. I like to tell my students, if you go to the gym, you know that you have a risk of dropping a weight on your foot. You know that when you go into the gym, you can do that. That can hurt you. But when you go into the dermatologist's office to get injected, do you think it's something cute like, I'm just freezing my muscles? Or do you know what's actually happening? Do we know that we're actually destroying the nerve that's talking between the brain and the muscles? Do we know that this can affect us psychologically and physically? Do we know that this can hurt us in this way or not? And I think that all of that stuff is really, really important for us to know. That being said, like I said, I work at a wellness resort. So a lot of my students tend to be a little bit more on the we want to go the natural side. I've had a ton of students between, I'll say, 25 and 55 who've said, I'm the only person in my friend group who doesn't get Botox. And I don't want to. I've had a lot of people also say, I'm the one who doesn't. And I guess one day I'll have to, which is again one of those things that we're just putting this injection up on a pedestal like this is the only thing that can help us. And again, I'm here to say it's absolutely not. I have so many people ask me all the time if I've had injections. Never in my life. And I have people talk to me on Instagram, I'm sure you've had injections. Absolutely not. And if you think that I have and I haven't, then that's telling you that there's another way that we can do this. There's another way that we can be in control of our facial muscles, of our confidence, of our awareness, that we can be more accepting of who we are and what we look like because we all look different. And that's a beautiful thing, I think.
Absolutely. I have not had any injectables. I've chosen not to. I know of 18-year-olds, not for
No.
wrinkles, but because migraines. And
Mm-hmm.
that has I look at that and I'm like, okay, your body's screaming there's something going on. Um, the natural side of me is like, do understand what you're doing to your body when it may be temporarily helping you. However, in the long run, what are those health issues going to be because you put this in your body?
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I feel like more people should know, especially with these the migraine and the TMJ injections. They use a lot more units to attack those places. And the more units, the more toxin. And this is also something very easily Googleable, bone loss after Botox. If we're not having proper blood flow to our muscles, then we're not having proper blood flow to our bones. Without blood flow to our muscles and bones, our bones are going to degrade. What happens if your jawbone degrades? We have to think about that.
Yep. And it kind of goes in with hormonal birth control.
Yes.
Um, because hormonal birth control demineralizes the bones. So
Yes. And I wish that someone had told me that.
me too. Trust me, me too. I was on 3 different types of hormonal birth control.
Oh my
So
God.
it's we have these beautiful individuals that are on hormonal birth control plus the injectable, and it's just sucking the calcium and everything right out of their bones. And if they're an athlete, then they're having more stress fractures and they're missing their period and they're thinking it's great. And they don't realize that they're turning their bodies into a very, very fragile vessel until
Yeah.
something major happens. And then they realize, oh, What
Yeah.
are some, you mentioned a few of them, but what are some of the side effects and long-term effects of having those injections? So we do have those that are informed. And then from there, we can talk a little bit about what um, exercises possibly do around in the face to kind of help with those wrinkles and the places that, as we age, the crow's feet are a big thing that they're like, I don't want
Yes.
crow's feet. I'm like, I have smiley lines. They're not crow's feet. I don't want
They're
the
adorable.
lines. Yeah, I don't want the jowl lines. No, I just smile a lot.
Yes, absolutely. It's reframing how we like what we call those lines or how we think about those things. Yes, definitely the adverse effects of Botox and just injections. I'll say injections because Botox is just the brand name. There's a bunch of other brand names. They're all exactly the same. It's also the same whether you're getting it for cosmetic reasons or for medical reasons. It's all the same. Like I said, this can cross the blood brain barrier. Most of the uses are off label. It can move through your central nervous system, diffuse through your muscles, which means that, say, you get injected in your forehead. And they actually tell you, I believe, not to lie down for a certain number of hours, which is telling you that it can move. Say it moves and then it moves to your shoulder, then you have a frozen shoulder. Some people, it can move through their central nervous system, get, say, to their bladder, and then you have a frozen bladder. These are things we do not want. Some people have been paralyzed. It can cause cognition problems or extreme fatigue. And these are things that, again, we just deal with as normal people, right? People are experiencing cognition problems. People are having a hard time with word retrieval. And then we get this injection and we wonder why I'm feeling worse all of a sudden. And you go to your doctor and he's probably going to say, or she's probably going to say, oh, it can't be the injection because that's absolutely not possible. But this injection has a black box warning label, which is the highest warning that the FDA can put on a drug, which basically says that it can kill you or cause severe disability. There are people who are severely disabled, who have lost their lives, who have lost their livelihood, who have lost who they used to be for 3 months of looking a little smoother. So I think that again, these are the things that we really need to think about, these risks involved and what is the pro versus the con. And for me, that is just not worth it. 3 months of looking a little smoother, a little softer is not worth potentially losing my speech. That doesn't feel okay to me. So I really do think that we should learn about those things. And again, I'm not trying to scare anybody. All of this is really Googleable. All of this is stuff that you can ask your doc. If you are getting injections and this is alarming, go ask your doc because this is something that, again, we need to know about. I really do think that, again, it's important for us to be able to move our faces. I feel like there's a big thing these days in Hollywood where it seems like all of the actresses who are now, say, in their 50s or so, kind of still look like they're in their 30s or so, but they can't move their faces at all. At all, at all. I watched a movie the other day and I could not tell what the character was supposed to be thinking. I was like, is she sad? Is she upset? Is she curious? Because she's completely immobile. Why is she being an actor still? We need to be able to move our faces because we're human beings and this is how we interact with each other. This is how you can tell that I'm having a bad day or something hurt me or that I'm paying attention to you. But a lot of us are moving our faces in the extreme, right? This is why we might have horizontal forehead lines because we're lifting up our eyebrows all the time, maybe lines in between the eyebrows because we're squeezing our eyebrows together all the time. Maybe it's the smile lines because we're big smiley people. Maybe it's the what we're calling the jowls because of gravity and we're people. And again, all of it can just feel alarming because we're not prepared for it. Again, just coming right back to this first period conversation. If we're not prepared for it, then it will be alarming. But the thing is, one day, all of us are going to have wrinkles, even the people who are getting injections. All of us are going to have gray hair. All of us are going to have saggy skin. This is a part of being human. And if you expect that you're going to have your 20-year-old body forever, then you'll be really disappointed as you continue to age. And I think that if we can start to really just embrace ourselves for who we are and where we are, the better we'll feel.
I agree. My mother-in-law, we had to have some care, an assessment done on her. And the gentleman who did the assessment, he said, "Why don't you use a walker or a cane to walk?" Well, I don't want to look old. He goes, You've earned the right to use that cane. You've
I
earned
love
the
that.
right to use that walker because of the life that you led, and it was a beautiful life. Embrace your age. And like I said, you don't have to feel your age. You're not feeling your age. I'm not feeling my age. Uh, but it's still embrace it because, like you said, we are going to get wrinkles. I've had gray hair since I was 19.
I love
Um,
that.
and here soon, I'm going to allow that natural color to come out because I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with covering it up. Um, what are some of the things if they choose not to do injectables? What are some things that can be done to help, like exercises or movements that can be done at home or through you to help with minimizing those lines?
Absolutely. So I'll do my best to throw in a couple of nuggets since this is an audio podcast. I think that generally we should just learn how to relax our faces a little bit more. I'm here on the pod. You can't see with my mug that says "relax your face." I think that we need to just generally find more of that relaxing our faces because again most of us are holding this tension in our shoulders and our jaw and our eyebrows, and even the shoulders. This is going to contribute to our face. If our shoulders are hiked up, then we're going to get lines in our neck. We're going to have all kinds of crazy stuff happening on our face. So we need to be aware of our stress, and I know that if I say address your life stress, that's bad advice. We all have life stress, but we can again learn how to take control of these things and find a little bit more relaxation, peace, ease, tension release. Now, the same way again with our shoulders, we might be able to just rub out our shoulders and find a little bit of a knot there or something, get some tension release. We can do a similar kind of thing with our eyebrows. So this is an eyebrow squeeze. We start in the middle, very gently squeezing the space where you'd have a unibrow. So we're going to squeeze it horizontally between the thumb and forefinger. We want to make sure that we're not squeezing it too hard. If you're feeling any pain, then you've squeezed too hard. And usually we'll do this with 2 hands. Nice. When you feel ready, then we'll scooch out to a side, squeeze again. Might have the eyebrow in between the fingers now. Now, if you're a big eyebrow squeezer, if you make a focus face or mad face, this inner edge of the eyebrow might feel more intense. We'll take another little scooch and squeeze. Now, if you're a big eyebrow lifter, this center of the eyebrow might feel a little more intense. When you're ready, we'll scooch and squeeze and continue to squeeze along the whole length of the eyebrow. Nice. So this is one that the only amount that we can overdo squeezing our eyebrows is how hard we squeeze. I did have a friend that squeezed her eyebrows so hard that they hurt her the next day. I don't want that for you. So you can always go back and do it a second time. You can always take a little bit more time to do it. Don't squeeze very hard. If you did find that spot that was like extra juicy or hurts so good, that just means that that muscle is real tight. It probably makes sense with how you move your eyebrows around. Again, if you're a squeezer or a lifter, we'll feel it in a different spot. If you did feel that extra juicy spot, you can hang out there for a while. I do this one when I wake up in the morning. I do this when I'm watching TV at night. I throw this into my day anytime that I feel that tension between my eyebrows. Because again, it's just a little massage. So this is a way that again we can really address any of the horizontal lines above the eyebrows or the vertical lines in between the eyebrows. And I feel like it's just a nice way to get a little bit of stress relief as well. How'd that feel, Heather?
Oh, I loved it. I may just
Amazing.
put this one as a video.
Yes, I love
That way,
that.
that way we can see it and we can do it.
Yes. I
No,
love
that,
that. Well, yeah, I usually do it with 2 hands, but I've got my mic in one hand.
yeah.
But yeah, we squeeze along the whole length of the eyebrows. I love, love, love that one. A lot of folks also deal with that stress tension in their jaw.
Mhm.
The jaw stuff is tough for me to really talk about as far as on a podcast, because we're really getting into a lot of different kind of nuanced muscles down here. But really, if anyone's dealing with jaw pain, even just kind of exploring this spot along the side of your face, along your jaw, there's a lot of little muscles out over there. We can also get this little divot underneath the ear that might feel real spicy if we are dealing with a lot of jaw pain. I do also encourage us to play around with the muscles inside the mouth. Doing intraoral massage is probably the best thing for jaw pain, TMJ disorder. If you are really experiencing deep TMJ disorder, please, please, please don't get the injections unless you feel like that's what you need. I'm not here to say that anyone is bad or wrong, but getting that intraoral massage, especially if we can find a practitioner who does this properly, this will be the game changer for your TMJ.
Yeah, even just seeing you kind of rubbing it and saying just rub along the jaw, I'm like, oh, that feels nice.
Doesn't it? Yeah. And it's again the same way that probably all of us, if we were to rub our shoulder right
Hmm.
now, you probably have a knot or some tension or like, oh, that
Yeah.
just feels really good. So if we think about that, we can do that anywhere on our body. Why aren't we doing it to our face? Same thing with exercising, right? We're moving our bodies, going to yoga, taking the stairs, going on runs, but we're not moving from the neck up. Why not? These are the
Yeah.
same kinds of muscles. We just need to learn how to move them properly.
I love it. And it's like, okay. And I'm when I get a sinus cold, I'm sitting and I'm like rubbing the sides of my
Yes.
nose and under my eyes because the sinuses, as you go under the eyes and like back up by the temples and everything else. And it's like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here and just rub my sinuses to loosen up whatever's in there. Oh, that feels
Ooh,
good.
I love that. Well, I'll offer you another one. I'm going to stick my mic between my knees so that I can show you. So this one's called face tapping. So we start from the center of the forehead and really gently tap from the center toward the outsides. So face tapping is not only this amazing stress reliever, but this is bringing blood flow to the face, moving toxins and moving lymph. From here, we'll go ahead and tap on the nose bone out along the cheekbones toward the ears. Make sure your eyebrows don't shoot up. Nose bone, cheekbone, ears. And I'm glad that you brought up the sinus thing because I always tell my students with sinus and allergy issues, tapping on the nose bone is amazing. Sometimes I'll do this for a minute and a half or so and I'll sneeze. That's your body moving toxins. So if you've got those sinus issues, honestly, sometimes I just do this, tapping right on the nose bone. And that just sort of lets a lot of that junk go that's stuck inside your sinuses. The
I'm
last
sneezing now.
part that, sorry, you might sneeze. The last part of face tapping is we tap on the chin, along the jaw, down the neck, onto the chest, and toward the armpits. Do that a few times: chin, jaw, neck, chest, pits. Back to the chin, along the jaw, down the neck, chest, and pits. This part is my favorite. We've got a bunch of lymph nodes underneath our jaw, down our neck, and in our armpits. So you're also doing something real good for your body when you do this part, not just for your face. But our face tapping, again, we're bringing blood flow, we're calming down muscles, we're moving lymph. So this is something that, especially if we're feeling like puffy, I know sometimes we might feel puffy, say around the cheeks. That's just built up toxins and lymph. So I've actually been able to see a completely different before and after in my own face after 20 minutes of face tapping. Now, tapping your face for 20 minutes, it's a long time, right? I was watching TV or something. This is something that we can just start to incorporate into our life, our day. It doesn't have to be daunting. I'm not here trying to say that people need to practice face yoga for 3 hours a day. Please don't do that. What a waste of your time in life. But let's just be a little bit more aware. Even if you don't want to practice face yoga, we can be more aware of, am I squeezing my eyebrows? Am I clenching my jaw? Am I scrunching my nose? Am I biting on the insides of my cheeks? All of these things are changing our face subtly without us probably even realizing it or knowing it.
Yep. It's true. It is that tension. I love the different people have said about the lymphatic drainage and stuff. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
lymphatic drainage. I
It
don't
feels
have to
so
pay
good.
somebody to do that for me. I
Yes,
can
you
do it
can. There are
myself.
lymphatic drainage, like massage therapists. I've
Yeah.
seen them for sure. But yeah, this one again, just want to remind everyone to be really gentle with it. If we're like tapping and slamming on our face really hard, you're not really doing anything. We want to keep this so, so, so gentle.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine you're doing it to a baby. You would be so, so gentle on that little baby's precious face. I want you to be that gentle on your precious face. I also like to slide in every once in a while when I talk about face yoga and being gentle. The name of my business is Be Easy. And I want you to remember that when you do your face yoga. How can I be more easy with my face, with my fingers, with my breath? Because this is another thing. If we're putting this aggressive, mean, hate myself energy into our face, then that's what's going to manifest. Now, if we're being soft and gentle and, oh, I love myself, I'm so beautiful, that's the energy that we're going to manifest as well.
Yeah, I very true. I when you were saying just be gentle, I'm like, I can see me going and hitting myself really real and then having all these black and blue marks all over my face. People going, what the heck happened to you? Oh, I beat myself up by doing face tapping. And they're like, what? Because that would just be me. Because that's
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
oh,
a
it's
lot of people. It's not just you. It feels good. It can feel really good to be kind of intense, but I want us to like real way back from that and
yeah.
be even softer than you think you could even soft. And it'll feel amazing and juicy and yummy and wonderful.
Yeah, it's even just the gentleness with some of it. It just I can feel stuff draining. And then I get
Oh,
that tingle with the draining, and then I just gotta remember I gotta drink to get that stuff
yes.
out of the body and out of the lymph nodes because if it gets congested somewhere else, it's just get it out.
Yeah.
You have a course, so you have some freebie stuff. Can you tell us about um what you've got going on? Because I know you've got your 12-week in-depth face yoga and you've got
A
you got some other
freebie.
stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll dive in. So I've got this
Yeah.
12-week course starting here in a few weeks. This is called Find Your Face Freedom. And this is an immersive and intimate face yoga coaching program. We are going so much deeper than face yoga. It's designed to help you take control of your face with natural and non toxic methods to release tension, strengthen your facial muscles, and develop awareness. Again, truly, my main thing is that confidence, the awareness. I'm about helping you to become more intimately acquainted with your unique face because we all have unique faces and help you to cultivate some more self love and confidence and embrace your natural beauty. Learn how to move through life's changes gracefully and gratefully without those risks of invasive procedures. So there will be a link in the show notes that has all the deets on Find Your Face Freedom. And you can even just book a call to chat with me. I'm happy to help you plan out your own face freedom journey. The other freebie that I have is my tension release guide. So this is I think the best way to dip your toes into face yoga. It's nothing crazy, but you're going to feel so, so good. We've got different exercises, poses, release techniques that you can do literally in just a few minutes every day. This is going to be super, super easy stuff that, again, if we can start to incorporate this, we can also start to learn how to isolate our different face muscles, release the ones that we're using too much, maybe start to turn on the ones that we don't even know that we have. But our facial feedback loop is that when our brain is stressed out, it manifests on our face. Now, we can let go of that stress from our life and then it can let go from our face, or that feedback loop goes in both ways. So if we can release that stress from our face, then we can help to release it from our mind. And I'm sitting here as an advocate of this. I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years. I am so much less stressed out than I used to be. I feel so much more peaceful in my face. And yeah, I still got some work to do. We all do. We all have stress. We all have faces. We all have tension. But the more that we can, again, just be a little bit more aware of it, be a little bit more gentle with ourselves, release some of that tension, the better starting place that we can start from. And then if you want to dive into even more face yoga, you can connect with me online. My website is beeasy.life. You can follow me on Instagram, Be Easy Face Yoga. I've got all kinds of stuff going on, groups, workshops, privates. Love to share it.
I love that you have these resources for us and you're easily findable. Because my word, I've always been one that tries to take more of the natural route. And the natural route's not always easy to find,
Yeah,
even when you're looking for it. So to be easily findable is is really cool. And it's an be easy.
be
It's a
easy.
reminder. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Before we go, do you have any wise words of wisdom to take with us?
I do. So I'm going to share my very favorite yoga quote that was shared with me with my yoga from my yoga teacher. And I say this in every class, yoga, face yoga. I've got this on a sign in my house. Practice makes practicing easier. There's no such thing as perfect, but the more that we practice, the easier our practice becomes. So that's my little nugget of wisdom. Practice makes practicing easier. Keep on keeping on.
I love it. It's a beautiful reminder with me practicing um, now my face yoga, but also with what I'm doing. And I practice on a regular basis, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. But as long as I'm practicing it, it's making it so that way I'm more comfortable with
Absolutely.
the practice and the outcome.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. That is some wonderful, wonderful wise words of wisdom to leave us on. And again, thank you for taking us on this enlightening journey into face yoga and all this information that you shared. It has been absolutely fantastic having you here, Kat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been such a joy, Heather.
Oh, all of the links that Kat shared can be found in the show notes. Thank you, listeners, for spending your time with us today. If you found a nugget of wisdom or a moment of empowerment, my mission is accomplished. Do you know someone who could benefit from this information? Please share Embracing Flow with them. Until next time, my friends, love hard, laugh often, and as always, be vividous. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the show, submit a rating and review, and share it with your friends. Visit my website, embracingflowpodcast.com, to receive your free guide on 4 ways to decrease PMS. The link is in the show notes. Information shared on the Embracing Flow podcast is for educational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice. Until next time, love hard, laugh often, and always be vividous.